Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Good morning. See how many technical difficulties we can get out of the way this morning. See if we're going to be on the struggle bus all morning or if we're going to make it through this. What's going on? Hope everybody's ready for the new year. And it stops. Okay, and we're back. I'm having technical difficulties here with my audio. And I'm in and out. I don't know. It says you can hear me and then it goes out. I don't know what the deal is. The microphone's going in and out. What's going on out there in the side chat? Let's see. How's everybody doing? Oh, we got people checked in. Good morning, Dad, on YouTube. What's going on? Walter Davis is with us. Happy Mule Team year for you. Let's to the Green Dragon Tavern. Alicia, good morning. How's things going? And the rest of the crew. Who else we got? We got Killdeer Survivals checking in. Good morning. Looks like most of you folks are in for a wet New Year, it looks like, from everything that's showing up here on the weather side. I can get around to getting some of this stuff going. But hoping most of y'all are going to have a wet New Year's Eve party of some sort. Don't plan on fireworks, it looks like, based upon what this is showing. Rain pretty much over Mule's house all the way up towards you, Walter. And who knows where else. So you got that to look forward to today. Lots of snow coming out north of that, if you didn't know. So good times going into the new year. But what else is going on out there that is going to kill us before the new year gets here? Is the apocalypse imminent? Probably not. I still haven't recovered from Christmas yet, I don't think. But let's struggle through this. The whiskey might kill you, Dad, right? If it doesn't, there's supposed to be another thing that'll kill you out there. Starts with a W too. I won't get into that mixed company. I think that's a Waylon Jennings song, isn't it? I can't remember. Good morning, Michael Sayans. How you doing? Welcome to the chat. Thanks for checking in. It must be a slow news day because it's got Pocahontas on the front of the Drudge. It must be really trying to push a distraction this New Year's, because I can't think of anything less that I'm concerned about than Pocahontas Warren there. So it makes me wonder what's going on in the stock market, because it must be something fishy going afoot about. But set to bump up here the last day of 2018 as they try to figure out how they're going to push forward. Bond rate's still down there, 2.7. Madness. The Dempocalypse. Yeah. It must be if Elizabeth Warren's going to be in charge. How much whiskey you plan on taking down today, Dad? You already got it lined up? But waiting for that cheap gas to kick in. We're still above $1.50 out here. We're not really reaping the benefits. I'm hearing stories of like $1.89, $1.69. Crazy prices out there east of Denver. Anybody seen Tommy Boy 9 lately? He hasn't checked in the last couple of events we've done. I've been hearing stories of a second migrant caravan starting its way up from Honduras, but it's not nearly the media event right now. I guess media just wants everybody to focus on New Year's Eve and everything that goes around with that. People like it'd be nice if you could just ignore them, Walter, but they're too crazy to ignore. And really, the people you need to worry about are the people that would actually try to put them in charge of anything. There was a French protest this past weekend. It looked like a pretty sizable group once again made the protest through Paris. I don't know if they had one through Britain or not. But that seems to be ongoing. They're still going to back out of Brexit, it looks like. So upheaval in the EU seems very likely. Oh, look, here you go. President is reconsidering Syria pullout after lunch with Lindsey Graham, of all people. Fake left, go right. Right? We'll probably have $1 trillion defense budget before the end of the day at this rate. Hey, good morning, Bug Out Bubba. How you doing? Ready for the new year there? In the wetness that is most of that half of the country? But it did seem to be a slow news weekend. Nothing stirring up the masses. Walter asks, could a sheriff make an arrest of someone like Hillary and prosecute? Who's going to sign the warrant, Walter? That's the issue. Somebody's got to sign an arrest warrant. Depending on where you're at, it has to be a DA or a judge. Good luck. I guess you'd have to get at least probable cause, right? Somebody have to file a complaint. I guess we could make a list of about a couple thousand people that need to be put behind bars. Don't think we're going to get that kind of action. People don't want to rock the boat. And thus here we are. Hey, good morning, Farkas. How you doing? Haven't seen you in a minute. Yes, it's funny how that works, isn't it, Dad? We're going to defend everybody but ourselves, essentially. Essentially, that's what's going to be going on, it looks like. We're still in a government shutdown. It doesn't even seem like it. We haven't even got the party about that. I guess we can double up our New Year's celebration with, hey, we have a government shutdown plus, right? It doesn't feel like something we're celebrating when you still got all the activity going on out there. So it looks like we'll kick into the new year with a government shutdown, but oh, there you go, Walter. Yeah, there's a bunch of victims in Arkansas. I don't think Hillary will ever make it back to Arkansas. You have to send out a special team if you want to try to get a jurisdiction in Arkansas to take them down. They probably stay far away from that place for a decade or more now. Dad, you think everybody's going to be doing prepping? It's going to be the end thing to do. Have we reached a critical mass where we can convince everybody all this madness isn't coincidental? The pain train's coming. It was pretty trendy, what, 8 years ago? And when it was on TV and everything, it was pretty trendy. Everybody kind of went to sleep on it when change of president. Everybody got all excited. Like, oh, we don't have to worry about the end of the world or the collapse of the country or anything anymore. I don't think much has changed really when you look at the real deal. Just the propaganda has changed. That's all. It does seem. But yeah. I guess we're going to be getting people announcing they're going to run for president soon. Seeing as how we're only a year and 10 months away from an election. They're going to be pushing who's going to be running. And I don't know that Trump is going to run or not. Yeah, Walter, that'd be an interesting hit team to be on, wouldn't it? A grab and go on the Clintons. You have to venture into New York, though. That'd be kind of rough go at it. Hey, good morning, Scotsman. How's it going? You're wet. It seems like pretty much everybody in the chat's the people that are getting rained on right now. Everybody's got nothing else to do but stay inside and make sure they don't get wet. Right? Hey, good morning, Barry Wood. How are you? You're the only West Coaster out here, I think. Oh yeah, New Year's dinner plans, right? You got to eat the traditional. What is it? Beef and cabbage or whatever. Some people eat for New Year's, and other people eat whatever. Is that your New Year's meal, Walter? Steak and mushrooms? Yeah, I don't know, Walter. I think if they really had no love for them, they would have took them down by now, right? They would have backed away, and a lot of people have slip and fall accidents or something. It's not like there hasn't been enough documentation of their lack of health that could have easily had an accident of some sort. Mule Team's got his anniversary today. Congratulations, Mule Team. You made it. Did you ever think you'd make it this far? Good morning, Iridium. How's things going? How you doing down there? You're not on the coast, though. I don't like to refer to Nevada on the coast. I hate saying Pacific time zone. It's Nevada time, right? Oh, you canned some steak and mushrooms that you got. I see what you're saying, Walter. Okay, that's not your New Year's plans. That's what you got putting away. If you're canning steak, you're definitely rolling deep in it. Then maybe put a couple in the freezer around here. That's about it. Pork and sauerkraut. That's interesting. Farkas, it's a little different. Do you have? Is it like just a ham, or what kind of pork do you knock? Do you hook up? Putting something on the grill. How does that work for you? I can only think of like you got bacon, ham, and more bacon. It's the only thing I can think of. And then you have pulled pork sandwiches. I don't think of much variety, but I guess I need to start figuring out some different cuts of meat for the. I guess you could have ribs. Pork roast cooked in sauerkraut. Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, not too excited about the New Year's myself. It just looks like more of the same. I did see this article over here caught my eye the other day. I think it came out yesterday about the IRS stockpiling weapons and guns, and it's been like we've been talking about this for years. But they brought out another report here coming out of the Government Accounting Office, their own report. The IRS, 4,400 guns and 5 million rounds of ammunition for the IRS to come and harass people. And they wonder why people comply because they don't want to get shot. Interestingly, and also in the same report, I guess this is a link to the GAO report is in here as well to surf through. Let me get this link through. So the Office of Inspector General also found that the Department of Health and Human Services had 194 fully automatic firearms because they are so worried about your health. They got to make sure that they're shooting at the cyclic rate, I guess. And 386,000 rounds of ammunition for those fully automatic firearms. What in the world is the Department of Health and Human Services doing with fully automatic firearms? I didn't know they were defending in place. And what are they defending? I wonder if that's down at CDC where they have the Walking Dead room where they go in there and they lock everything, all the diseases down, and they defend it with their M249s or something. And who counts weapons in fully automatic versus semi-automatic? Why would they even make a note of that? Is a funny way to list it as well. It's machine guns, including submachine guns, 3-round burst guns, and guns with a selector switch that can enable continuous fire. So that would include your M4s that have 3-round burst, which they could have easily gotten from the military, you figure. There's just another government agency on the list. It's better than you are. They get to have fully automatic weapons that you're not capable of owning. Here's a full table picture, it looks like. Table 4 from the GAO report. The Environmental Protection Agency has 231 pistols, 20 shotguns, and 6 rifles within one portion of their agency. And the other portion, the Office of Enforcement and Compliance, has 377 pistols, 223 shotguns. All for your protection of security, of course. And here's the Department of Health and Human Services, Food and Drug Administration. So I guess these are all classified people. The number of people that are classified as law enforcement officers within these agencies as well is listed. The Food and Drug Administration has 232 people who are classified as law enforcement. FDA, Office of Criminal Investigation. That whole thing in the Declaration of Independence where they said that he has sent forth swarms of his officers to eat away our sustenance. What do you think these people are doing? There's 444 officers in the Inspector General Office of Investigation of the Department of Health and Human Services. They have 194 fully automatic firearms. 12 revolvers. They're living in the 70s as well. Breaching equipment. 219 pieces of breaching equipment. They don't even classify that. The Department of Health and Human Services will knock down your door to make sure you're healthy, apparently. See if you got the Ebola. They want to make sure they can come in your room and make sure you got the Ebola or not, or something like that, right? That's the Office of Inspector General. The Internal Revenue Service has 2,148 classified law enforcement officers that can come in and take whatever they want because they say you owe taxes. 539 rifles, 15 fully automatic firearms, which I'm only going to assume are crew-served, vehicle-mounted, or otherwise machine guns. I don't think they're classifying M4s or M16s as fully automatic. I bet you they're separating them. But they also have 4 revolvers, being the old school people that they are. And they also have a police officer section. What's the difference for the IRS? What's the difference between a police officer section and a criminal investigation section? They got people like directing traffic out front or something. But you go to half these government buildings nowadays, it's all contract security, so it's not the weapons for those people. It's good to know that the IRS has 10 tactical lighting devices, special image enhancement devices, 176, which, so they have FLIR probably, some night vision, 103 aiming devices. So they got ACOGs and stuff, laser pointers, all the good stuff. Government agencies stocking up for your security. Go on down here and see what else it says. It says here the criminal investigation portion of the IRS serves the American public by investigating potential criminal violations of the Internal Revenue Code, which aren't really criminal violations. They're breaking code is not a criminal act, and related financial crimes in compliance with the law, the GAO report explained. I wonder if these people are working during the government shutdown. Probably, right? Got to make sure we're raking in as much money as possible so the not functioning government can misspend it, even though they're not supposed to be operating. GAO's report reviewed 20 federal law enforcement agencies. They spent at least $38.8 million on firearms, $325 million on ammunition, $1.14 billion on tactical equipment. You know the whole thing about standing armies? You know, we were worried about the literal standing army, and they just made an administrative one that works at their whim anyway. That's stationed on the shores here. Report explained that agencies in question purchased ammunition for use by federal law enforcement officers for both training and operations. All $325 million worth. But really, what's that $1.14 billion in tactical equipment? And you wonder why there's a disconnect of the way things work at the federal to the local, when these agents are supposed to contact local law enforcement, but of course they probably don't trust them because they know they don't support them, because your local people aren't going to kick down your door to enforce half these regulations these people run about and enforce and fine people for based upon hearsay half the time anyway. The National Institute of Health, which I guess technically falls under HHS, has firearms and ammunition. The information about the TSA, some of that is deemed sensitive and must be protected from public disclosure. So there's a whole other section about the TSA and their misspending. You can only imagine what those fools have got. And they're a bunch of clowns that can't even do their jobs right. So that's what the government gets to spend their money on while they're supposedly shut down, is more ways to kill you. Let me check you here on the side chat as I try to take all this in more. Once again, proof about the federal overreach. Hey, right, Farkas, so make sure they can take our medicine, right? Hey, good morning, Daniel. How you doing? Everybody out there that's in that wet part of the country is checking in this morning. Billy Bird Outdoors, good morning. How are you? I haven't seen Tommy Boy. Have you seen Tommy Boy lately? He's been like UA since like before Christmas. Smolo, what's going on? Breaching equipment, right? Yeah, AK explosives. Well, I figure it might also constitute vehicles with ramming devices. There's all kinds of things that breaching equipment could encompass. It wouldn't just be the kinetic devices. It could be other uses as well. I mean, think of just hooligan tools, all your breaching equipment you can use that they could use, battering rams and everything like that. Yeah, Dad, everybody showed up. Oh, if you refuse to vaccinate your kids, that makes sense. Yeah, the HHS making sure your vaccination is meeting their protocols and schedule, right? They don't want you getting off schedule of taking their investments so they can keep their investment values boosted up. Didn't think about that, Walter. Trump should surplus it out. I'd buy some, right, Walter? Well, you can't buy it because it's all under the restricted act. It's all restricted material because it's good for them, but not for you, right? They're the special caretakers that are above us common everyday folk. So that's a good one there. It's put that link in the description box there for anybody that if you checked in earlier, it won't show up until you refresh, but that'll be there for future reference. CNS article. That's just more madness. I mean, we've been documenting and talking about overarming of federal agencies for years, and it doesn't change under the current administration. These administrators put it in their budgets every year for all this stuff, arms, ammunition, to go against the people, and it keeps getting passed. It's not like the new administration is anything different. Hey, there he is. Tommy Boy is checked in. What is going on? Or he likes to be the man formerly known as Tommy Boy, Mr. TB9, which sounds like Mr. Tuberculosis, but we'll not worry about that. Billy Bird, I think they just shut down just to make people think they need them. They don't want to shut down too long. People might start realizing how much they're not needed. Yeah, Farkas, it does sound like the zombie apocalypse is coming, right? Everybody. If they got to defend the CDC, we saw what happened in The Walking Dead. They don't want that to happen, so they had to stock up. Tommy Boy, you got two computers working into listening to our KTNN and Pete Santilli. You're just trying to get it all in, aren't you? That's a little bit overwhelming. It's like I was looking out. I was like, there's not really a lot going on this week. It's like ever since the stock market upheaval, they've kind of laid low and tried to keep everything quiet that they can to get everybody through the New Year's. They're not even really talking about the government shutdown. There's not a lot of articles talking about that now. But we did get to talk about Pocahontas getting ready to run for president. All right, Farkas has got an idea: zombie apocalypse insurance. I'm sure that'd go a long way. We could all use a little bit of that, right? I thought that's what prepping was, though. That is our insurance. It's a little bit cheaper than paying somebody else to stock up money. I think I'll stick with my plan I've got, Farkas. Maybe it's better to open up a zombie apocalypse consulting agency. I mean, that's something to call it. I think that might be a prepping consulting team, we'll call it. Who wants to be a fellow agent of the zombie apocalypse consulting? Go out and help people make sure they got enough beans and rice and water and such. Rich people pay for it. All we got to do is convince them that their big wall's not going to work, and they need to do a little bit more than just have a mansion with a wall around it. Some of those people, rich people, are getting on board, though. They're definitely putting money towards. We've talked about it the last year and a half or so. I mean, buying up bunkers, and that fellow that runs that bunker place out of Texas, he's not selling bunkers to people like me and you. He's selling $1 million places to people that can afford it. There's lots of people in the zombie apocalypse insurance business, that's for sure. And the high-end people are the ones that pay. Where our measly efforts at prepping is far overshadowed by some of the efforts by the rich and famous, and the rich and not so famous, but much richer than any of us could ever imagine. You know? Okay, Tommy boy, keep it in your own room. So you need to start your own chat for stuff like that, Tommy boy. The Farkas Foundation. There you go, Farkas. You gotta be creative like the Clintons, you know? You call it a foundation, everybody thinks it's all touchy-feely and trying to better society or something, right? Yours probably a little bit better than the average. Might get a little bit more accomplished than the Clintons too. Yeah, I mean, between the Soroses and the Rockefeller Foundation and all the other things, the Farkas Foundation will fit right in, I'm sure. What are they talking about in the shutdown corner over here? Let's see. This is a Bloomberg article, so Bloomberg's not going to like the shutdown. So let's see how they try to downplay it. A turbulent year is coming to a close in Washington. 10th day. We've been closed. The federal government has supposedly been shut down for 10 days. Have you not paid taxes for 10 days? Nancy Pelosi is going to be our speaker. Let's don't even talk about that. That's just makes your head hurt thinking about that one right there. And 3 weeks next, Nancy Pelosi is going to be in charge. Makes you wonder who the real power behind the throne is to be convinced that she's a good choice. First order of business is expected to pass a bill to fund the federal departments that are closed without providing money for the wall. So that fight's coming. So basically, they're not going to be able to pass a budget that funds anything or the wall, so they're just going to stay out. McConnell will not bring the Senate to the floor unless there is a bill that congressional leaders and the president support. This is going to be fun. Maybe we'll stay shut down into February. If we get a whole month of shutdown, might actually start saving money at some point with all these unessential agencies that stockpile weapons and ammo. Their weapons and ammo are probably automatic. It's probably caked in the budgets that are as essential. All that weapons and ammo is probably considered essential personnel, right? Probably don't get a pass on that, unfortunately. So the Democrats are going down the hill. They're not going to pay for a wall, so they're going to look like the good guys and pass a budget that's going to open up all the government agencies to save $5 billion. And on the other hand, they're going to look like they're going to paint them as being weak on security for not passing it, and it's going to be back and forth. And So you got to wonder, what's the payoff amount? How many billions of dollars extra are they going to have to put in this budget to get everybody to vote for everything that everybody wants? Because that's what it's going to come down to. It always does. It's going to get passed. You're going to get money for a wall. You're going to get money for all your little pet projects. If everybody gets enough money paid into their little special little projects they have either in their state or somewhere else that they want to get funded. Just like all those people that voted for the Affordable Care Act, like that guy from Michigan that ended up not getting reelected the next year. Somebody's going to fold. I guess the biggest place you're going to have to worry about is the Senate. What's it going to take? It's going to take like 3 senators to flip over. So basically you got who replaced McCain? Whoever replaced McCain, because Arizona like split. They had the one chick that got elected that's weak, and then you got the one that's got nominated or selected to fill the slot is fairly strong. So one of those will be bought out, and then you got Snow out there in New Hampshire or whatever will be bought out. Yeah, those was a chick from Alaska, Murkowski. Is she still around? Those that you always hear about every time there's something controversial come up, always dragging their heels until they get the right pay dollars into what they want. Next steps. Senate and House set to hold brief sessions on Monday, so that's today. No votes scheduled because it's all lame duck. Thought they were closed. I guess the only exception would be if they had to come in to vote on the budget. If the shutdown standoff continues, all workers in the departments and agencies affected by the closing will miss their next paycheck on January 11th. Key impacts. Affects 9 of the 15. The shutdown affects 9 of the 15 federal departments, dozens of agencies, and hundreds of thousands of workers. Among the departments without funding are the Justice, Homeland Security. If we can get TSA shut down out of this, I think I'd make a monument to Trump myself. Let's shut down Homeland Security and TSA. We might be in good shape. Interiors and Treasury departments. There's the IRS right there, right? Supposedly they work under Treasury Department. Still hasn't been proven to me that the IRS is even a government agency, but somehow they still get classified as federal agents. Including the Securities and Exchange Commission. Oh, there you go. When the stock market crashes, they can blame Trump for not having the SEC funded and operational. It's their fault. They weren't able to go out and regulate when the stock market crashed. With more government, we would have not had all these problems, right? The departments whose funding has lapsed represent about a quarter of the $1.24 trillion in government discretionary spending. Keyword discretionary, right? Definitely not essential. An estimated 400,000 federal employees are working without pay. 350,000 are furloughed. That's according to a Democrat congressional aide. Federal employees working without pay and those now furloughed got their December 28th paychecks under a decision by the White House Budget Office because pay reflects work before December 21st. The remaining parts of government, including Department of Defense, Department of Labor, Department of Health and Human Services, were already funded and won't be affected, nor will mandatory entitlement programs such as Medicare payments. Well, they're still raking in taxes, so they should definitely be kicking out entitlements. I mean, they're still raking in record taxes, but still spending at record rates. And people think things are changing. Closed doesn't really mean closed, I think would be the bottom line there, right? Closed only means partially closed. We're partially closed on this side of the store, folks. Imagine going to Walmart. Hey, the women's section and the home wares and the food section are closed, but everything else is open. Sporting goods, you're good. You'll still go shop in the sporting goods, but no women's clothes today at Walmart. Can you imagine? uh, okay, Farkas, as soon as that Farkas Foundation's up and running, let me know. I want to be a founding member. See what else we got going on the side chat here. They say food stamps runs out of dollars on February 1st. Oh, that's right. I remember seeing something like that, Dad. It's shut. So you're saying the shutdown will end before then? There's going to have to be a lot of money paid off, though, because well, is Trump going to give in on the wall, or is somebody going to get enough money? Because really, that seems to be the crux. The Democrats will vote for anything but a wall, so they can put money into anything else but that $5 billion. So they'll probably give $5 billion to any other special cause that some senator wants, as long as they don't put it down as a border wall. They had probably put $5 billion down for border agents, just not a wall, just to make themselves look good. Daniel asked about the Supreme Court's and the judges' health. I know Ruth Bader Ginsburg there is about on her last leg. She's been in and out of the hospital all through Christmas. She can't be holding out much longer. Romper room crybaby, says Barry Wood. Yeah, they're throwing a bunch of tantrums, and once they get paid, they'll be happy. Hey, West Wind Survival, good morning. Get out there and get it done. Out the West Coast, people are checking in. And West Wind's on the coast, unlike me and Iridium. I figure if you're east of the crest of the Sierra, you're not really on the coast. All right, Alicia, have a good day. She might have already checked out a couple minutes ago. Barry says only people affected are the low-hanging people. Yeah, the real retards stay in the money. Right, Barry? Yeah, the people that need to suffer aren't the ones that end up suffering. They make sure they get theirs. There's no doubt about that. They will get theirs. I mean, you don't see the Senate and the House Congress people getting furloughed, right? I wonder how their staffers, half their staffers are interns anyway. So I wonder how that works as far as payments. The staffers of Congress. Hey, Jay Sparks, good morning. How are you doing? Hope you're finding a nice, dry, warm place. Continue to hold up at. But I got off track there. Yeah, we'll really have to see how this all plays out and who gets bought off for what. It's going to be just like the Affordable Care Act down to when they get to this thing, they're going to be following every single senator, seeing who's going to be voting for who or how. It's going to be a big sideshow probably for a while until they get this thing passed, which means there's something else nefarious going on, which part of that might be that Trump's not getting out of Syria, if that other story is correct, that Shamus D. Graham is getting his ear and talking him out of it. Because Graham's never seen a war he didn't like. Where was that article? Thought it was over here on the, yeah, there it is on the zero hedge. So that's not a money-saving venture. Continue to leave people in Syria. That's just going to cost more and more, so that's not good for the budget. But saying the president's reconsidering Syria pullout after a lunch with Lindsey Graham, of all people. Since he can't be working in the Senate because nobody's doing anything, I guess they can go have lunch. That's apparently that was Trump had an eye-opening visit to Iraq the day after Christmas, and that changed his mind potentially. So Graham, who sits on the Senate Armed Forces Committee, which basically makes sure he gets as much money as possible to the military-industrial complex, said earlier Sunday he would try to change Trump's mind during a private lunch since the Islamic State isn't quite defeated in the region as the president has previously stated. So Graham talked to his buddies in Al-Qaeda, and they said that they need to bump up their actions so that we can keep troops over there for some reason. So apparently Graham got a call from General Dunford, chairman of the Joint Chiefs. The president is reconsidering how we do this. I wonder if he's been convinced or it's just about a money play. You never know. Don't make no sense. Ain't nothing in Syria worth fighting over for us. There's enough people over there that don't like the Islamic State that they can handle it, I'm sure, especially the Russians. So Graham's going to be happy if that happens. He's not going to be too happy, but looks like they're backing off the idea of pulling out of Iraq, so that's not going to happen. Never seen a war they don't like, right? Fight the good fight. Good morning. How you doing? You don't have anything nice to say? You don't have anything nice to say? You're just not going to say it, right? No worries. Hey, Tommy Stock. Good morning. How are you? Disabled veteran attacked at Walmart in Muskogee, Oklahoma. So there's a video out on that, Tommy Stock. I see. Okay, better go check out that. Tommy Stock putting a word out on a issue. Especially if you're in Oklahoma. Hey, Practical Outdoors, good morning. You're in that wet and soggy part of the country too, I believe. It's got the big green blob over it. It did appear earlier. If we can go check in, we go refresh this before we check out here. Right, ready to roll this out. It was kind of a slow start. Kind of got going after I got about halfway through my coffee. I got woken up, I believe. 7 counties in 5 years. What are you talking about, Tommy, with the money? So yeah, there's that big green blob over most of you folks out there for the new year. That's what you got to look forward to in 2019 is rain. Some of you might get some snow. We're not getting nothing. Could use a little bit of snow coming in because we need some water. It's cold enough for snow, but we ain't getting nothing with it. Oh, Tommy boy, I don't talk about such distractions. I think it went so viral, everybody's seen that. Tommy boy talking about that viral video of some guy in a vape shop yelling at a customer for he had a Trump shirt on or something, and the vape shop, not the owner, but like the guy that just works there, working the counter or whatever, wouldn't serve him, and just yelled at him, telling him to get out and stuff. every time he tried to get service. It's fairly hilarious. It lets you know what the millennial generation is doomed. But yeah, just look up. You can just Google or look on YouTube vape shop meltdown or vape shop Trump supporter or something like that. It's fairly humorous that people have gotten so divided. I don't remember any videos of people yelling at Obama supporters for wearing Obama stuff like that when they walked into a business. I guess there were signs at gun shops though saying "stay out." If you're stupid enough to vote for Obama, you're not smart enough to own a gun. There was a couple of those going around. But those are usually private, businesses making their own decisions. They do what they do. I'm not sure if the vape shop owners would agree with the guy's tactics, though. Oh, Tommy Stock, you talking about the agenda of invading 7 countries in 5 years? Got it. They're a little bit behind their timeline, so they got to up their pace, right? They got to get out there and get that job done. They're slacking. Yeah, Barry, he may have been fired once the owner's seen it, but at least put him in the back, make him do inventory at least. HRM Weapons Machinist, good morning. Welcome checking in. Who's the snake oil salesman, the vape shop guy or Trump? Or both, maybe. The vape shop has probably better quality product than Trump does. All right, folks, we're going to check out here. It's about that time. You guys have a good day, a good new year. We'll hopefully get back in here in 2019 and see that all is well. Looks like the government will be continued to be shut down, at least theoretically. But they'll be happy they'll be shut down with all their guns and ammo, though. They don't want to shut down without being properly armed because they don't want the masses to overrun them, I guess. So be on the lookout for that. See how things come out on the other side. Looks like we're going to be impending that government shutdown ride until the middle of January at least. So it might be pretty fun. And Pocahontas gets the front page of the Drudge for a little while. So y'all have a good day. We'll see you next year. Live free.